Yeah, welcome to the last YouTube meeting of the 2024 season. Let me do my housekeeping here. Okay, let's go. This thing is slow. Live. On. Save. We need to go here. Chat replay. I don't know why that thing won't stay checked. Okay. All right. Looks like Gary may be here. No, I guess not. All righty. Let's see here. And we got four. We got four on the channel. Let's see. Can I pop this out? Yeah, we'll just do this. All right. If you'd like to come in, the link is at the bench. I'm just sanding. Lots of sanding.
Eat this shop.
There's the real Steve Smith coming in. You got something on in the background.
I'm gonna mute and I'm gonna finish cooking my dinner, but I just get on and I'll be here in a little bit.
All right, well, mute that that thing. Let me make sure that we got this. Come on. Huh. I don't know what's up with this. Oh, view. Let's try that. Speaker. No, I don't want that. View. Of course, you got to come in and screw it up. Follow hosts. Video order. No, we don't want that. View. Hey, Gary.
Oh. How are you today?
I'm good.
Do you have any wind last night or?
Shit, I don't know. I'm sleeping.
Oh, well, last evening we had wind.
Of course, I really haven't been sleeping very good lately. Got weird sleep hours.
Yeah. I guess blame on getting older.
No, it's because I'm staying up way late at night sanding on this thing.
Oh, yeah.
There's Gordon
Hi,
Delaney.
Gary.
Hmm?
Yeah,
Hi,
Gary,
Gordon.
thank you for the calendar.
You get her?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, all right.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Working on my the latest airplane. About got her ready to start painting.
Looks good.
Lots of sanding, as you know.
Oh yeah. What's that plane behind you?
This is the one I just built. I built three this year. Finished three full-size stunners. This is one I just finished. Then I built two of the Vipers. So
Have you flown it yet?
I got one flight on it. The engine was lean. and
Oh.
I couldn't get it. The weather's been total shit here.
I can relate to that. It snowed here today.
It did?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
It's about the third one in the last 2 weeks.
You can have all my snow. I don't want any of it.
Neither do I. I wish it just snow in the mountains and rain in the valley.
I don't know how let me see here.
Oh, that one you got in the back. What did the total weight come out?
59.
That doesn't sound very heavy.
It's not very heavy, but
What is that? About 700 squares?
about 690, I think.
No, that's still a good weight. That would even fly good here in Salt Lake.
This one's going to be lighter. This wing here is that wing there. Only that's a foamy and this is built up.
Oh yeah. I figure you always gain about 2 ounces on a foamy.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that wing has that airplane has a turtle deck.
And that one's a bubble.
Yeah.
Boy, it sure looks nice.
I don't have any room here to.
Yeah. It looks good.
Yes. Does a good job. Yep.
Yeah, very good.
Someday I'll learn how to do it.
Yeah.
I think you already got there.
To be honest with you, I really miss the days of living in Los Angeles when Tom was alive. Bill Noyes.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun with,
Them guys were builders.
yes, they were. Yeah, Tom and I had a lot of fun together.
You know, I probably saw you there at Whittier and Arrows. I just don't remember you.
Well, that's only been, what, 50 years ago?
Something like that.
Well, I remember you from the Nats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we flew in the same circle there on practice days.
You know, back at Whittier, there was two boys that used to fly on that back circle. You know, it was all grass. We always
Right.
You always run down that side. We flew on the first circle to the right, and then there was a circle behind that, and the far circle towards the freeway. There was these two boys always flew, and then once in a while they flew up towards the tether car, you know, coming up that way. I think those boys were the Reynolds boys, Scott Reynolds and his brother. You remember those kids?
I remember them, but I can't ring a bell seeing them there. I do remember you always had to watch out for gopher holes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the kid's name that had the Miss Poppy?
No.
They end up getting that. I flew the original. He flew my Tony, and I flew his. What was the name of it? Can't know. Too many years gone by.
One thing I do remember about you remember the RC field up the way in the wash. Of course, we rode horses up there too, but
Yeah.
I used to go up there and look at those RC airplanes. Do you remember that they used to fly fiberglass fiberglass pylon racers that looked like real pylon racers with torpedo 40s and no throttle on them. Do you remember
Sure.
that?
Yes, I do. Except I thought they were KB 45s. No, 40 was max. You're right.
Torpedo 40s, the same thing that they flew in the rat race airplanes.
Yep.
And they weren't RC engines, they were control line motors. They were just wide open.
Yep.
Man, them things would climb up towards the freeway and then make that turn on the first pylon and dive going away from the freeway towards the pistol range or whatever rifle range that is down there, and the horses, and they'd haul ass. They're faster than what they were today, I think.
I don't know. They're pretty darn fast. I know that. Yeah, we had a guy here that was sponsored by, I think it was KMB Fuel. Is it the Fuel? Oh, Powermaster. He was sponsored by Powermaster. So he got all the fuel he wanted for free. So, and he had some of those. Oh, you couldn't even see the seam on the cow line.
Right. They're perfect.
Yeah. He told me when I was looking at his that if you have a gap in there, it'll pull the cow apart.
The way I remember it, when I was there in the late 60s, early 70s, the airplanes were perfect. And unless I'm nostalgic or whatever, but they were perfect.
They are a work of art.
Much better than what we got today out there, I think. I mean, every airplane at the field was a front row airplane at the Nats.
Oh, yeah. Easy. I don't know if they even fly that anymore. Most of them are flying, what, Quickie 500s or something.
Then they had some of them guys that were building big biplanes like Pitt Specials. I mean, real big stuff.
Yeah.
And they were not foamies. They were all stick and tissue, dope. They were beautiful. Have you been? Did you ever go to that Sears in El Monte on Garvey?
No.
Yeah, my dad worked there.
Are you talking about the store Sears?
Yeah, the Sears and Roebuck. It was right off Interstate 10 on Garvey there.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. My mom worked at Sears here in Salt Lake. She retired from Sears.
Yeah.
They finally tore it down here about 2 years ago. So I don't know what you're going to build now, but it won't be a Sears.
Back in the day, you could buy a house, a gun, a car, whatever you wanted from the Sears catalog.
Oh, yeah.
Motorcycle. They had them Benellis.
So do you still have any motorcycles?
Nope, I sold them. I hit the ground. I hit the ground 10 years ago, and the ground is twice as hard as when I was 17. I said, that's enough. And I sold it, and I put roof on my house, a 50-year roof on my house, and just paid bills, and just, that's it. I got all the tools. I got everything. You know, when Wendy got out of airplanes, I had gotten out of motorcycles, and we just swapped. He went to motorcycles, and I went all airplane.
Did you ever get to fly his, what was it? what was that twin engine, the black one?
Tiger Cat.
Tiger Cat.
Yeah, I was offered, but I didn't do it.
He offered me the B-25, and I turned him down. Then he showed up that Tiger Cat the next year and offered it to me. And I said, "You'd let me fly that twin?" And he said, "Hell, Gordy, you probably got more stick time on a twin than anybody on the planet." Yeah, all right, I'll fly it. Boy, I was glad I did. That was a nice flying airplane.
He just came out with a video today on his Typhoon. That was a nice airplane, but I ain't flying no 91.
Oh, that's a brute.
Like having a Briggs and Stratton in the nose.
Oh, yeah. Well, my first Tony, I had a 81. Wasn't 81? 82 in my Tony. And I flew that at the Nats. That was a brute. The one thing I liked about that Tony with that 4-stroke, you didn't have to worry about the wind. That thing would plow through the wind like better than any airplane I ever owned.
Yeah, but the problem with the wind is not when the motor's running. It's when the motor's off, I think.
Oh, hi, everybody.
Hello, Mike.
I,
I
hope everybody had a great Christmas.
yep.
My wife had such a good time, she gave me a cold.
Oh,
So I've been down for about 3 days. She had it for about 2 days, not bad. Boy, when she gave it to me, she done a little bit both barrels.
You know, back in 2023, I went back to Muncie to actually deliver an airplane to the museum and got that accomplished. And I thought, and I've been watching Sparky's videos for quite some time. And the flying at, is it Bruder Park?
Yep,
Right. Yeah. So I saw that and I thought, boy, that's a neat looking sight. And it would be fun to drop by there and see who's flying and what's going on. So I decided when I left my sons, I'd take a Southerner instead. And I couldn't figure out any way to hook up with anybody, to meet anybody there. So I ended up not being able to do it after all. But who knows? I get back there sometime.
I'm sure you guys, my pilot that I built. This is a liberal pilot now.
mhm.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Well,
They turn out pretty good when I do the hair up like that. But I tell you what, Tommy Looper carved me a wood pilot for my. I got it in my Tucker, but when he sent the wood pilot, he also sent Clark Gable. But I don't think that was big enough here. Spotlight for everyone.
oh, wow.
Tell me that doesn't look like Clark Gable.
It does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if it's too small, send it to me, Sparky. And I'll put it in my Heinz 57.
In your what?
I'll put it in my Heinz 57. It's a open cockpit.
His shirt needs a little touch-up paint.
He looks pretty darn good.
I think he's too small for this airplane.
Oh yeah.
So I put the bigger guy. Same guy, just the next. This is a six.
Just bigger. Yeah. Yeah, that looks better. So send me Clark Gable. It'll fit mine just perfectly. Mine's a
Send me your-
smaller.
Send me your address on Stunt Hangar. I'll send them to you.
All right.
Hey, did they ever get started on my damn Bearcat? Or the
Who's
Mustang?
that? Bart?
Yeah, the Mustang. That's what it was.
No, I don't think he has. He found a girlfriend now. So you know
Tell
what
him
that's going to do.
If he ain't building that airplane, tell him to send it back. I'll build it.
Yeah. I told him he couldn't build any airplane until he finished my twin. You know, he brought it out here and I repaired it. Got a new fuselage, wings all put back together. And the fuselage just needs a little touch up and he can paint it. And that's been going on, what, 5 years now? He'll be too old to fly it because it pulls so hard.
Well, I really didn't want to give it to him, but he seemed so excited about getting it. I said, you can have it. I wish I wouldn't have done it now.
Hey, Gary,
Yeah.
I think you touched on something the other day. If my memory is correct, you asked me about the competition stuff on the wall behind me. Did you bring that up, or somebody else did?
No, that was Bob Hunt, I think.
Okay, but when I was competing, my first AMA contest was in 2007. And the last one was in 19. So virtually everything that's back there is third place in intermediate with the score in the low 400s. And it seemed like most of the contests we'd end up having about 3 entries in intermediate. And by the time the flying rounds came up, somebody had dropped out. Somebody couldn't get their engine running, and it just weird. And it actually got to the point where you could just almost go to the contest, pay $20, and be guaranteed a trophy certificate of some kind. So I was never able to get above that. And boy, I sure had a lot of fun doing it, though. I don't regret it at all.
Yeah.
Count your blessings. My first contest was at Whittier and Arrows in 1968, and I had to fly against the likes of that gentleman there, Gordon Delaney, Tom Ward. And, I mean, back in the day, it was junior, senior, open. That was it.
Yep. They had Ed Southwick, Ball Palmer.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I crashed inverted on my first contest.
Engine problem?
No, idiot
Huh?
problems.
Oh, yeah.
I was young. My first contest, and I just did what I could do and whatever. I had a blue Junior Nobler. It had a Vico 19 on it, metallic blue, and I landed upside down, and I knocked the rudder off of it, I think. Maybe the engine did quit. I don't remember.
My first contest, I was a week and a half after having some stents put in my heart, and decided I was going to go ahead and go anyway. man, by the time I finished that flight, where I think I forgot the triangles at the very least, um, my knees were shaking so bad I didn't think I was going to be able to stand up at all. But I met a lot of people that I'd never met before and really had a good time.
You live in Eugene, right?
That Springfield, actually. So just across the freeway.
So did you fly with Morris Gilbert or not?
Yeah, yeah, I did. And I didn't get a chance to fly with him much because by that time his health was getting pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Were you there at the Eugene airport there?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, in the overflow lot. And now there's that whole thing is parking. They went in and totally rebuilt it, and we knew it was coming.
I think I was a Eugene prop spinner in 1985.
85. All right.
Yeah.
What had you out here on the left coast then?
I was born in California,
Ah, okay.
and my home field was Whittier Narrows.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
That's how I know all the old guys from that area. I was a kid basically. I'm still a kid.
Yep, we all are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about what we do. You know, this is the only hobby that I have of all the hobbies I've had, and we're all probably pretty much the same. I've done motorcycles, boats, airplanes, full scale models. And this one, the control line flying is the one that stuck with me my entire life, and that means a lot to me. And it still has the same appeal that it had back when I was first started doing it.
Back when I was a kid, we used to go to the Pomona Fair, and people would look at livestock and this, that, and the other. I was like, look, they had a swimming pool there, a round swimming pool. They had tethered boats, and they would haul ass. I mean, 140 mile, 150 mile an hour around that circle. And when they were done, I'd look at them and I was in awe. And then they had all those miniature model dioramas and things like that. It was just great. And all that stuff intrigued me as a kid. So that's why I do what I do.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and well, just you guys are a lot better at it than I am, and have a lot more experience. But just getting into different things that we can do with the airplanes, that sometimes I wonder, what am I doing? Like I've got a Tudor 2, so the big one, that I converted to monoline, and have been trying to learn how to fly that stupid thing for I don't know how long now.
Monoline, one single line.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? That's for speed flying.
Just to see if I could do it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
forget it.
And I've got Mike Hazel here, so I've got lots of coaching available, and so I built it in such a way. Well, I recovered it with ultra coat, and then I built it up such that I could put two, well, normal 2-wire controls on it on the outside, like a little profile. And I flew it first that way to make sure it would even fly. And then I went ahead and did the monoline conversion.
Well, they
Yeah,
used to have a bounty on monoline. The first guy to win the Nats, I think, what $10,000 on a model line. Never happened. It's never going to happen. You might as well
Nope.
give that up.
Nope. And it's so finicky.
Are you
I mean,
are you there, Gordon? You got two Gordons open. Gordon, are you there? Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Gordy?
There he's.
And now you're down to one, Gordon. You got something going on there. Are you muted?
It don't look like he's muted, but
I need to get a whiteboard. Gordon, can you hear us and hold it up?
yeah. Yeah.
Can you hear us, Gordon?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to log out and log back in. If I boot him, he won't be able to get back in.
this is something that I'll get into later. But when you guys show pictures from your library, is that difficult to do? To get it to come up on the screen to share with everybody?
Not for me, but I'm not there at your computer, so I can't explain it. You just got to
Okay.
go to share and then pick the file and present it.
No, okay. I'll play around with it and see what I can do. It'd be fun to do that once in a while. I've got an old RC airplane, Headmaster 40, that I've converted to 3-line control, and I have a Rust Twin 60 in it. And I hope that I'm going to be able to get a chance and the ability to fly that before too terribly long. It's something I can, as long as I can stop and go, I think I'll probably be all right. So we'll see how it goes. But the thing sure is a kick.
Mark Weiss, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, we're having difficulty with Gordon. He can't talk or hear or whatever. I don't know what's going on.
He kind of raise his hands like if he's don't know what's happening.
Oh, there he goes.
There he goes. He
Log
don't know.
out and log back in. Reboot your computer. Let me send him a message.
I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear anybody else.
We hear you.
We hear you. Mhm.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
No, can't hear anybody.
Oh, you're not missing much.
Let's see here.
Hey, Gary, thanks for the calendar. It's beautiful.
I'm
Good
glad
to
you
see
like
everybody.
it.
Go Gordon.
I'm about chat.
Log out.
Just trying to think.
And reboot.
Anybody there?
Log in.
Yeah. Can you hear
Yeah.
us?
GORDN.
Well, I think I saw Mark Weiss.
Yeah. You did that.
Hi, Gary. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
If you
hear
hear
you.
me,
Yeah.
nod.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I can't hear you guys. I can't hear anybody. Don't know what I did.
Log out and reboot log.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Do you want us all to boot out?
No, just
Hmm.
Gordon.
Okay, just
Right.
Gordy.
Yeah. The rest of us are doing fine.
There he went. How about now? Can you hear us? No, we need to.
Looks like the alarm has gone off in Gordy's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Gordy?
Okay, gang. I'm gonna leave. I can't hear anybody.
Ah,
Oh,
Happy New Year to everybody.
Remove it.
thank you, Gordy.
Oh well.
Boy,
I
Gordy
see.
looks like Steve Smith.
Gary, I got the calendar today.
Good. I'm glad. All right.
Thank you so much. That thing looks like quite a piece of work. I haven't opened it yet, but
He does nice work.
yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I got online. I guess my package got to a friend over there east there.
Mm.
Gary, is your email
Yeah.
the same as it has been?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Do you ever drink this twisted tea?
I know.
No.
Well, this past summer, there's a quick shop, it's called Wally's. It's near our flying field. It's like a famous truck stop quick shop. Ran up there to get a sandwich. And I thought, man, I haven't had iced tea in a while. I didn't know what these were. I bought 2 of these big ass cans and I
Yeah.
brought them back to Booter Park and I drank both of them while I was eating a sandwich and a bag of chips. And,
Wow.
these are they're a pint plus 8 ounces each one, 5% alcohol by volume. I learned after about a half hour, I was like, what in the hell? I'm feeling kind of loopy. And I look at the can, I'm like, oh, well, no wonder.
Oh my.
Hey, Ed.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, it's caffeine. I got online. He got his today. Yours ready to pick up anyway. So,
Hey, Ed.
Yes, sir.
I heard that before you changed your name, it was Ed Wasted. Is that right?
yeah.
No, that's too short. It was a lot longer than that.
All right.
Do you pronounce it with a long A, Ed? Waski?
Waski.
Waski. All right.
Yeah. But Polish, it's Vaskevich.
Ah, so my cousin's name is Paskevich. And
Ah.
although my last name is Smith now, that's my dad's. My mom's maiden name was Kostecki. So we're
My,
Polish and Lithuanian.
after the military, my dad changed it because he had so much trouble with it and that. But yeah.
Have you ever met, gosh, I think his name is Darian, maybe? He's from up Chicago area. From Poland,
No.
actually. He's from Poland, but he lives in Chicago, flies with Fred Krueger. And you met him, haven't you, Sparky? They were at the contest.
Red Kruger? Well, certainly.
Well, not Fred, but Darian, and Darian's a younger guy. He's probably in his 30s. And then he's got a little boy who flies some too. I don't
They
know if
fly
they're
speed. Oh no, those
unknown.
were the guys who were flying stunt, right?
Yeah, I know they fly stunt, and I thought his little boy the year. So I didn't make the contest this summer. Last summer though, they were both there, and his little boy had a some sort of a scale, an 049 scale airplane he was flying too.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's from Poland. That was kind
Yeah,
of fun.
I had to send guys over to Poland to change an engine, and I should have went, but I stayed back. Would have been nice.
Ed, are both of your parents from Russia? I mean, from
Poland.
Poland?
Yeah.
Both
well,
of them?
grandparents. They were
Oh, grandparents.
yeah,
Okay.
grandparents.
Yeah, my dad was born in Poland. My mom was born in Russia.
Oh, okay.
So that makes me Polish.
Here comes Gordon again.
I thought it
Yeah.
would be Wasinski.
Hey, Gordon, can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Good.
Okay.
Hey.
My dad's side of the family is German, and my mom's side is the Polish one. So that means I fight with myself internally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't touch anything, Gordon.
I'm not going to.
What was it, Gordon?
What's that?
What was it?
I'm not sure. All I did is I tried to turn the volume up and it worked.
Ah, that was the stupid problem that I had when I couldn't get on when I first got on was couldn't hear anybody, and I didn't turn on the volume on my computer.
Yeah, hold on a sec. Hello?
Uh,
Tell him we said hi, Gordon.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, when you had that swap meet, I saw you and Bob Hunt on YouTube at your tables trying to sell
Oh.
things.
Yeah, the Garden State circle burners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah. You put a price tag on something that you think is fair, and you sell it for 20% of that, and you can do real well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people will complain if it's over $1.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Oh, but it's fun, and we just circulate stuff that no one's going to ever do anything with. So, yeah, Bob and I did okay. We did okay. I mean, Bob's selling all new stuff. He's selling wood and stuff like that.
Does Bob live in New Jersey or in Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania,
Okay. He recently
north of,
sent me something and
yeah,
had
it's
Pennsylvania.
Stockerton, PA. And nice. He's not far from the Martin Guitar Factory.
Yeah, he has said that now that you mention it.
Yeah,
Block away from New Jersey.
yeah. That's right. Sparky, is that silk span?
Yes,
Looks nice.
this is real silk span. 50-year-old stuff.
I ran out of silk span, and someone told me if you get tea bags,
No.
it's the same material, but the wing looks like hell.
Yeah, it's not.
All the strings coming up, and
Huh.
it's a
Marky,
mess.
did you ever get to try covering with the stuff that Dave Rigotti was selling?
I got a roll of Dr. Paper. I don't.
No, it's
no
not
good.
Dr. Paper. He
What
wasn't
is that?
selling Dr. Paper. I mean, I've never used Silkspan before, but I was, online. Everybody said, this is the stuff. He found it. You got to buy it. So I bought two. He was selling these big manila envelopes full of it. And not this year, but the year before, Steve brought me back. He bought two for me up there at the Nats from him and brought them back.
Guaranteed, this is nothing like this. This is K&S double-aught silk span from 50 years ago.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah, you can't find that.
It's much different weave, much stronger. Let me see. I'll show you the difference.
Twice as strong.
You gonna poke a hole in it?
Okay.
It's kind of like covering with silk, only lighter.
This is a piece of K&S silk span from 50 years ago. And if you look and see the grain, it's got a real grain to it. This is a piece of Brodak.
Make yourself big.
Yeah, we'll do that. What happened to the mouse? It's over there. Okay. Much different stuff. Okay, this is a piece of Brodak silk span. See, you can see through it. I mean, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
You get a lot of holes when you cover with this. This is a piece of K&S, and it's uniform and even, and the grain is different.
Okay. Now, is double aught their lightest?
Yes.
Okay.
This is lightweight Brodak silk span. Be good for a free flight model, one that didn't have to have a good finish on it.
Yeah.
Which I use this stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, it beats this stuff. Let me show you what This is what everybody's saying. Well, you got to use this. This is crap. This is a roll of the doctor paper. Well, it kind of looks the same, but it doesn't act the same. It's paper.
Is that
Yeah.
a butt print I see on there?
A what?
I said, is that a butt print?
Probably.
Does
I
it
was
shrink?
Nope, none of the paper shrinks. Silkspan doesn't shrink. It relaxes. It relaxes so you can pull the wrinkles out, and then when it dries, it goes back to its original state. That's a misconception that it shrinks.
Okay.
Silk doesn't shrink. It just relaxes.
Hey, Sparky, how many coats of clear dope do you have under the silk span?
Under the Silkspan, 3.
Yeah. 3? Yeah, that's what I do.
Then with how much? 70-30?
50-50 probably.
Yeah.
50-50?
Yeah.
And then it's 60-40, on when I start painting the top. I put it on with thinner.
Yeah. I think it adheres better with thinner.
Well, you got to have material under the Silkspan to stick it to the wood.
Yeah.
Got to have like a shine.
I've always started with something like 60-40 or 70-30 to get it way down in there, and then switch a little bit thicker for the second and third coat.
Looks good.
Well, the secret to a good finish is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that and an elbow.
That's right.
Mark, I think Bob Hunt told me that Billy, when his construction was completed in an airplane, he would give it 10 hours of sanding. It was just his rule of thumb. I'm going to sand this thing for 10 hours, and by that time it should be ready for whatever I'm going to do with it. That's a lot of sanding.
I got more than that on this.
Do
10
you?
hours ain't enough. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the key, though.
Billy has a different finishing method than I do. He uses Aerogloss for the first 3 coats. Then he puts a coat of certified or Randolph or whatever on the airplane. Then he sticks the paper down and he goes all with Randolph from there. But he's using and I have the Aerogloss dope for the base coats. I'm just afraid for incompatibility, but he does it and gets away with it.
I was looking for something in my paperwork just the other day, and I found Phil Granderson's article on the finishing technique that he uses or used. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's something else.
He was artistic.
Oh, wow. Yes. What a nice guy. Just,
He was another Woody and Earl's guy.
yeah.
Yep.
But he knew a lot of the people that flew in Lamb like I did back in the 70s. And so we always had a lot to talk about. And then he always said, I've got a nephew who has a CNC machine shop in Oakland, California. And he always told me, you get in the neighborhood, you come on by and visit with us for a while. It's just super guy.
Yeah. Hey, Gordy, you been working on anything?
What's that?
Have you been building anything?
A sign for my brother.
Oh, okay.
For sale?
Well, it's 3-dimensional. When I grew up, I had a dog that was just a hair taller than a Cocker Spaniel. And somebody gave my folks this sign that says the Delaney's on it, and then it had this black dog with the white chest and paws like our dog had. And we got that when I was about 9 or 10. Well, when my folks died, I ended up with it. My brother always wanted one. And Sandy repainted it. It lasted a couple more years, but it got so bad now. So she found somebody that would cut the parts out and then gave it to me. He says, here's a kit for you to build. So I had to build 2 of them. And they're all painted now, waiting for me to spray clear epoxy over them. You know, it's got big 5/32 piano wire. And I sharpen the ends on it. And you just go out and push it in the ground. So that's what I've been doing for a couple of weeks. Not counting bikes.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing?
Me?
Yeah. Now the night is over.
Well, I think the best thing I've done, and actually Bob Hunt had a lot more to do with it than I did, was to find a highly qualified event director for next year's Nats. So I'm real excited about that. That's John Hill. And starting Thursday, I'm going to call a few guys and see if I can get someone to be an assistant. At least the assistant can fly at the Nats. The event director really can't. So that's all good. And I'm trying to figure out how long I want to, as long as I'm not impeached, how long I want to be a Pampa president. This next November, I'll be 80. So
Wow. You're catching up with me.
Yeah, you're coming right up there.
yeah. So one of these years,
John Gary.
Yeah.
yeah,
Take
So
your time.
I've been good.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
I want to rejoin Pampa, and I got started on that the other day, and maybe the timing wasn't right, but I never did get the email confirmation of things, rolling along.
Okay. I can check on that, Mike.
Might have been a bad time of day or something.
Well, how long ago did you do it?
I think I did it. Let me think here. Where are we? This is Monday. That was probably Saturday
Okay.
that I was under trying that.
I'll give a shout out to Jim Barry. He's up in New Hampshire, and he's the guy kind of running this for us. So let me check with him. I'll get back.
Well, I thought to myself that maybe, considering the difference in the time and all of that, it may not be anybody looking at it right now. So I appreciate that. Thanks,
Okay.
Mark.
No problem, Mike. I'm just putting it on my phone.
And Sparky? Where do you go?
Yeah, what can I do for you?
Would you go ahead and email me your address?
Send me a
Yeah.
message on Stunt Hangar so I can reply to it.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I'm going to follow up on what we talked about earlier, and I'll do that tomorrow.
All righty.
Okay,
No problem. Thanks.
appreciate it, bud.
Gordon, you got to send me your address too.
Okay, I'll do that.
Oh.
So what's your latest count, Sparky, on stunt ships ready to fly?
What is my count right now?
Yeah. 1/3 just ready to fly.
I got about 5 of them sitting ready to fly. I got about, let's see, we got 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 9 that I could have ready to go, you know, in a short amount of time, put the motor in it and go.
Well, I've got that many, but they all got motors.
Yeah, well, I got the motors for them. I just got them out of it.
It's probably a good idea to take them out. That way it doesn't crush the beams over time.
I just sold one to Mark Hughes. I don't know whether he's flown it yet or not. My Tucker that I flew a couple years back at the Nats, the big Dr. Pepper Tucker.
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad for him. He crashed all his airplanes this summer, so I sold it to him cheap, $500.
With an engine?
No,
Oh. Well, that's a fair price.
yeah, considering that's $50 back in the day.
Yeah, well, you probably, that's working about 50 cents an hour.
Shit, quarter an hour maybe.
So Floyd Carter, Sparky, a lot like you are, builds or can build quickly, and so at one point he gave me one of his airplanes, and then I've got other ones hanging on the wall downstairs, but and it was number 31, which I think was his first dedicated electric, because he likes to fly older stuff with ignition engines, you know. But he would do that with all of his airplanes. He got to the point where he had so many he would number them. So I got number 31, and it always intrigued me that he did that.
Well, I can't tell you what number I'm on.
I'm sure.
A lot. I wished I'd put the dates on mine when I build them. You know, on the wing chip or something. I've got some that are so old I have no idea when I build them. But they're all go out there and loosen up the motor a little bit and go fly them.
What you need to do is grab one of those old airplanes and see just how bad they really flew compared to your new stuff.
Well, I'm trying to think. You know, knock on wood, I have never crashed a stunt ship.
No, that's good.
Not that I didn't deserve to, but I used to be beat to death on my score because of my low bottoms. It took me several years to get my bottoms up to 5 feet. I tried to
explain back in the day, see if you get the lowest.
Yeah. And they say it's supposed to be at 5 feet. And I says, well, when I'm looking out the handle, that is 5 feet when you're as short as I am.
That's what I used to say about Robbie Gruber. It's not fair. His level flight is over my head.
I know. Yep.
That kid Angstrom, his level flight's going to be over my head.
Well, he's about 6'4", isn't he?
Angstrom or Robbie Gruber?
Huh?
I don't know.
The one from California?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's about 7 foot tall.
He's got to be pushing 7 feet.
Yeah.
He stopped by when I was down there at one of my contests, and I hadn't seen him in quite a few years, and he come over and talked to him for a while. Yeah, last I heard, he was having problems with his feet.
Yeah, unfortunately, big guys don't fare too well.
Yeah. Looks like we lost Mike.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm
I'm here. I just muted my mic because my neighbor came over. I had to open a garage door. What's up, Gordo?
Oh, not a whole lot. How about you? Did you have a
Uh,
nice Christmas?
yeah, I did. Had a really nice Christmas. Sam and I have been out in the shop quite a bit since he's been on Christmas break. We've been repairing stuff, fixing stuff, throwing stuff away. We're up to 32 speed limit models that we've got ready to go, and I found 4 more Phil Cartier airplanes that were tucked away, brand new. So I'm putting those together tonight.
Yeah, I've got one that needs to be put together too. I've had it for about 15 years.
Yeah, these are some of Phil's gotcha speed limits. I don't even remember where I bought them, but the wings are assembled. They're already built and covered. You just got to plug the booms in and build the tails for them. I found a box and it had 4 brand new airplanes in it. So clean your shops out, guys. You never know what you'll find in there.
Mhm.
That's so
Doing that,
cool.
and then we got a few RC projects we're gonna take care of, and then we're gonna get on to his F2D equipment for the 2025 season. We're gonna get all his F2D stuff ready and start practicing for team trials in July. So that's what we're doing.
Cool. I'm
All
trying to
right.
figure out what we're going to do with 32 combat planes.
I wished you lived closer, Gordy. I really do.
Well, I could sure unload them.
Yeah.
Mike,
You know,
have you played with that electric airplane yet?
they're all balsa wood though. You know,
They're all
and
balls.
covered
Yeah. No, I
balsa.
have not, Steve. Do you know anyone coming to the Nats, Gordon, that could get them there, or even
I might.
Kansas, Kansas City in June? That's closer than Muncie. Kansas City's having a big triple elimination combat contest. I think it's around the middle of June, June 15th, and all the usual suspects will be there. You know, Bob Mears might like to have some of those for the combat museum down in Lubbock, Texas. You know.
Yeah, I'd like to have a few of them in there. And I've got some that's already in there, but I think mine are probably nicer than the ones he's got.
I'm
You
sure
know,
Bob would love to have them.
you know, I've got a what's it and a sneaker, a couple versions of my Challenger, and my Saturn's FEI ship is the nicest airplane I've ever flown. You know, it's not like the ones they fly today in FEI, but for back
Right,
in the day,
right.
it was an incredible. You know, I've got a Nelson on it, and we clocked it at 109 or 110.
Nice. Well, man, if
But
there was any way I could get my hands on 1 or 2 of your airplanes, Sam and I would sure love to have them for nostalgia, and we would keep flying them for sure. But getting airplanes to people is always kind of a hard deal, man. It's
they need to be flown.
yeah. Hmm.
You know, if I get you my Saturn, I don't know if I'd want you to fly it in combat, but I would want you to fly it.
Not in combat. No, we would just fun fly it if we had it.
You know, some of the others is no big.
Right.
The Saturn's got a tapered leading, trailing, tapered airfoil. You know, I had special jigs to build it. I've got one, and Roger Kramer's got one.
All right. Well, maybe I'll just have to drive the truck out there to you, Gordy. Make a road
Well,
trip.
we've got a real nice guest room.
That's a long, long way to go, man. It's a long way to go.
You just told me it was closer in Muncie.
Well, Kansas City would be close. I was saying the Kansas City contest would be closer to you than Muncie, than going all the way to Muncie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I teasing you there a little bit.
Yeah. Let me think about that. Maybe I'll take a solo road trip out there with the pickup truck, and we can get some of your stuff back east and into the middle of the country and get it into the hands of some people that you want it to go to. Maybe the museum might want some of it, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be great.
yeah, let me talk to the boss and see if she's amenable to that. So
You know, I've got let's see, one, two Nelsons. Yeah, I've got two Nelson 36s. I got a couple Foxes that'll run right with the Nelson,
okay.
except we have to do it on 40, where the Nelson get to do it on 10.
Right, right, yeah. Yeah.
But you put 40% on these Foxes, they've been modified, and they are honking Foxes.
You got Brasher parts in them, Brasher cranks and all that stuff, and the double
This
bubble Hemi head and
this is the Mark 6.
Mark 6. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like a Mark 7 is 90% of a Nelson, really, you know. By the time the Mark 7 came around, they had it figured out pretty good.
yeah. I think I'm lying to you. I think they're Mark 3 or 4. Wasn't the Mark 6? Didn't it? Wasn't that AAC? Wasn't
Say again?
wasn't the Mark 6 an AAC motor?
I believe it was. Yes. Yeah, I believe it was. Well, Gordo, I'll talk to the wife, man. Let me see if I can make a road trip out there because you've brought this up several times about wanting these airplanes to go somewhere, and I hate to see that they wouldn't. You know, I don't like stuff like that. So let me see what I can do about coming out and paying you a visit, and then maybe we can distribute that stuff and get it where you want it to go. You know, we'll
The
see if we
problem
can
is
do that.
I'm gonna be 82 in a week, and uh, most of the combat fires are long gone around this area.
Right, right. I know it's hard to know what to do with your stuff, you know, and you don't want it ending up in a landfill somewhere.
Yeah, you know, what's my wife gonna do with it when I die?
Right. I understand. I understand. Well, let's let these guys get back to stunt. I'm sure we're boring them to death with combat talk. So I'm gonna
All right.
mute up and I'll be in touch with you, Gordy. Okay, and I'll be here too. I just gotta mute out for now. See ya.
All right.
Hey, I
See ya.
see Colleen Gilbert's husband.
Yes. Hi, you're so kind.
Oh, I see it. Yes.
Hello, Gordy.
Hi, Joe. How you doing? I was going to call you.
What can I do you for?
Well, I was going to ask if you had John Blanchard's phone number.
I do.
Yeah.
Me to send it to you by however you do it on here. Let's see. Switch cameras. There's a way to do that. Look at that cat. Oh my goodness.
Meow.
Do you have my number, Gordy?
What's that?
You don't have my number, do you, by chance?
Yes, I do.
Well, then send me a text.
Oh, you can't find it?
I got hit, but I don't have yours.
Oh. Well, you got something to write with?
Well, just call me.
All All right, I'll call you.
Call me. I'll put this on mute and call me.
Okay.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
is your name spelled correctly on the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
Mike.
just no, the second one.
Second Mike.
That's
Oh.
it.
I just
Oh.
have Jim Barry on here. He's just checking it out.
So, Mark, how's your plane doing? That you're working on?
Me?
Yeah, you've been working on one,
You
haven't
know,
you?
if I had cleaned up the shop, I'd bring my camera down there. Bob Hunt, I went to Bob's house maybe 2 months ago with a tutor kit, you know, the old top flight tutor. And I said, you know, before I start flying my big expensive stuff, I should just get some handle time on something simple. Well, when you do that with Bob, you don't leave with a tutor. Bob has this way of saying, well, that's a good airplane, but you know, it's a little dated. Let me get a set of plans out, which he did. And I always forget, but maybe the Prowler, that might be what it is. It's maybe a 50-inch, 52-inch stun plane that Bob designed. He never built one, but other guys have, and they fly real well. So Bob built it for me. In the beginning, I was involved with the construction, then I couldn't get back, and he's such a good guy that right now it's sitting on my shop and it just needs paint on the fuselage, and I'm going to use Ultra Coat on the wing, keep it simple, powered electric. But I have maybe four others. One is ready to fly. Well, two. I have Billy's P-47, the bubble canopy one. I've flown that maybe 4 times now, and I got a lot of good things. I just got to get my rear end down there, and I think I just need to let Pampa go to hell, you know, and then I could I could have more time. That's not an official statement. That was just
Yeah.
no. I'm very anxious to put a lot more time in this year outside than inside. So yeah,
I've got a
yeah.
Magnum hanging on the wall downstairs that I just absolutely love. That airplane. It's got a Super Tiger 60 in it, and it just was always a really great flying airplane.
Yep.
But with this back problem I've had, I've lost 85 pounds, so I'm down to like 120 now. And that was enough of a handful for me when I was at 185 pounds.
Yep.
If I got a lean run or something, I was in trouble. And now there's no way that I'd ever be able to fly that airplane.
I built a plane that was 185 pounds.
Oh man.
No, I love building, Mike. I've built all my life, and I had a company for about 4 years that built ready to fly RC airplanes. The only problem was everyone loved them, but we couldn't make money. Yeah.
Gordo.
It goes to the wrong number when I call you. What's your area code?
No, I sent it to you on this website. You know, I sent you a message on Sparky's deal. Look on. What do you do, guys? Share content.
Go down this chat.
Yeah,
Go to participants.
It says
go to
chat,
participants, and you'll find it.
Red number there, telling you you've got a chat message.
Yeah, that's what I did. I gave him a chat message. How does he get that?
The usually bottom center of the screen, it says chat. If you click on that, it'll open up a window on the right-hand side of the.
He should have got a notification of it too.
Okay. Did that work for you, Gordy?
For John's phone number?
Yes, I sent it to you on that chat.
Here's
thing.
how you do it. Right click on the person you want to send it to. Then select chat, and then
He's
it'll
not
open
asking
up.
how to send it. He's asking how Gordon can see it. Now that he
Yeah, I
sent
see it.
to you.
It's 2225, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's John's. Call him anytime.
Okay,
Thank
apparently
y'all.
the number I got for you isn't right.
Okay, well, I'll send that to you too.
Mark, what was the company that built the ready-to-fly airplanes?
Mine
Yeah.
was called Columbia Model Crafts.
Huh.
We had a it's a funny story. It started because I kept building airplanes, 4-channel RC airplanes, they're bringing them out to the club field and guys would buy them. So I said, well, maybe we got something going on here. And we had probably 3 years in the booths at Toledo. And if you remember a guy named Dick, I want to say Kidd, I can't swear it's his last name. He was a writer for RC Modeler. And he asked me if I'd ship one to him to do a review, which we did. And then he gives it to a local club, which is great. And then he said, hey, I'd like to see, the factory and how you guys make these things. Well, the factory was my laundry room. And I'm trying to figure out how I can avoid this guy coming and upsetting the washing cycle.
No.
I was
No.
literally, I was looking into renting for a month an empty warehouse and just packing it with everything I could find and get a sign made. And thank God his trip to DC was canceled. But the best thing about it was a guy named John Maloney, who used to run World Engines, came over to me at Toledo, and he said, what engines are you using in that plane? The plane, by the way, was designed by Riley Woot. So Riley and he used to send me maybe 24 kits at a time, just bulk. And I was using HB engines. And John said, why don't you use OS engines? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, would you use them if I send them to you? And he said, if you do that, send me the airplanes back and I'll sell them that way. And then if you put a World Engines radio in it, I'll sell it ready to go. And that's what we did. And Mike, on a handshake, about 4 days after I got back from Toledo, I had this big UPS box on the front at the front door with 40 OS 40 RC motors without an invoice. No invoice, a note from John. We'll work out the numbers. And it was a lot of fun. It was just, if you go back that far, there was a company, Hobby Shack, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was importing these things called the Easy Series. They look great. You couldn't fix them real well.
This was the very first ARF then you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Laminated foam with the fancy paint job.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember those.
And the nice thing about the show was that I really enjoyed. I was there one day, and my wife would it's a 3-day show, and Carl Goldberg came over, and he said, "I see you have an Olympic 650 hanging out." I said, "I do." He said, "Do you make those?" I said, "I do." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because Lever Dog gave me a good deal." He said, "Well, what about the gentle lady?" And I said, "I don't know. You're going to give me a good deal?" He said, "We'll work something out." So it was, the industry is small enough that you can do that. And I don't know if you guys know the story. I'll just bore you 2 more minutes. I want to tell you how the company came to be. I was doing all this stuff, and I worked down in DC, and I could walk to the Air and Space Museum, which I loved walking through at lunchtime. And I met the guy who ran the IMAX projector, and it turns out he was an RC guy in the club. So he let me go up there and watch how they do this all. So one day he was late, so I went to the gift shop. And I remember this lady there, and I said, "How come you don't sell ready-to-fly RC airplanes?" She said, "I have no idea." And I said, "Wouldn't that be a good thing?" And she said, "Probably." And I said, "Well, is there someone I can talk to?" She said, "There is." So she said, can you come by here next Thursday at noon or something? I said, sure. So I'm in a coat and tie. I walk in and I meet a retired Air Force general who's the curator of the museum. And he said, what do you got? And I told him about this. And I had business cards made before the meeting because I figured if you had a business card, people believe you. So Barbara came up with the name Columbia Model Crafts. And he and I start talking. And I said, General, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to pick you up here. I'll take you out to the field in Columbia, Maryland, where I live, and I'll demonstrate the plane. He said, well, I can't do that, but I'll tell you what I will do. I'll get the park police and the mounted police to rope off some of the areas around the monuments, and you can fly it there. Well, I was so excited, I said, okay. But the closer I got to this, the more, I don't know, this doesn't sound good to me. Something's going to go wrong. So I'm in a suit, and one of the guys that worked for me, he came with me. And sure enough, there were tourists all over the place, horses, mounted police. They had areas roped off. I know I'm going to end up in jail. I know something's going to go wrong. So he's out there. He's real happy. I'm nervous as hell. And the first thing I do is the grass is a little high. This is a 40 size airplane. It isn't that big. So I had to bend the gear a little bit, get the nose gear a little longer. Then I started the engine. I was wearing a suit. I started the OS. Of course, I hand flipped it, and I cut off my tie. So now I look like Colonel Sanders. I got this little thing coming down. He said, "You okay?" And I said, "Well, honestly, I don't know if I'm fly in a suit, but out of respect for you, I did." And somehow I got that plane up in the air, and it's going. I don't know. I forget which monuments. The other end of it was the Capitol. I remember that. And I'm flying along, and the only thing I really hadn't thought of happened right then and there. Interference. There's so much radio frequency in Washington that it seemed like an hour, but I'd say for 30 seconds, I had no control over that airplane. But I was the only one who knew that. So the plane is going, I swear it's going to crash into a window. It's going to kill someone. It's all over the sky. And all of a sudden, I get it back. So I said to him, and he's going, wow, wow. And I said, yeah, it's a pretty good aerobatic airplane. And I landed it, and the motor was still running, shut it off. And there were police all over the place. And he comes over to me and he puts his hand on my shoulder. He said, Mark, we have a deal. And Columbia Model Crafts became the official radio-controlled airplane of the Air and Space Museum. So I kind of geared my life that way. You got to try, and we had fun for maybe 4 or 5 years together doing that. And but then Control Line came along, and I've never been back to RC. So,
Yay.
I got a question for you, Mark. You know all these people in Washington, and they came out with that remote ID and all that business. Why is it that they couldn't tell who was flying drones in New Jersey? Because remote ID is a joke.
They were lying to you. How come?
Sparky, I'm not sure the answer to that. I don't know if the signals that an RC transmitter puts out, are captivated by standard radar, whatever they use around airfields. They must have known they were there. I have a drone and I have an FAA permit for it. I just use it for landscape photography.
Yeah, I got that permit too, but that remote ID is mandated by the government that no drone can be sold over 248 grams without a remote ID. That you're supposed to know exactly where the pilot is. Well, if it works, why didn't they know who was flying those drones in New Jersey? Go ahead, Mike Monkey.
I'll tell you one thing about the better drones, and I haven't been on the market in a long time. The better drones will not let you fly over a restricted area. The drone will absolutely stop dead and come back. It won't infiltrate.
Do you think that would stop me if I wanted to fly a drone over a restricted area?
I don't know if you can override it.
No,
you have to program it to do it.
No. You have to build the drone. You build the drone with your radio.
Yeah.
No, that could be done.
Well, Sparky, to me, the biggest problem with drones is that you can go to the hobby shop or online, buy it, and 15 minutes later fly it, and you have no idea what you're doing,
No, that's true.
you know? And
But if remote ID worked, they would have known exactly where the pilot was.
yeah,
It was scanned.
Well, if you've ever looked at a radar picture of all the stuff flying in the area, I don't see how you could easily find it quickly because it's just full of hits and stuff. So,
What I'm getting at is they made everybody buy this remote ID and this license, and there's no way to enforce it. So why did they do it? It's just to punish it.
I think it's good PR.
Yeah, right.
You know, I just don't
Can
know
you
the
see
answer.
that? Can you
It's-
see that? All those little round circles? Make
there
it
you
big,
go.
Sparky, would you?
Yep.
Is that restricted,
That's
Joe?
NOTAMs in New Jersey and New York today.
Let's see. You want a spotlight for everyone? There we are.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
one of those circles
aircraft.
is 0 to 400 feet.
Yep.
New York, New Jersey, all that. Every one of those is a circle that's 0 to 400. Restricted area, you can't fly in that area, is 0 to 400 feet.
Yep. But there's a
Amazing.
lot of idiots out there.
Of course, the offshore, that's all, there's lots of restricted area everywhere. But that's that drone thing, there's problems with that. They knew what was going on. They just didn't want to tell you.
of course,
Guarantee you they knew.
Well, from what I
if
heard,
it took
mostly
if it took me 9 months to
regular
get clearance,
From what I hear, it was mostly regular aircraft mistakenly identified as drones.
I did see some of those on the video I saw on TV, that some of those were drones plain as day. Some of them. They were looking for something. Somebody. Our
Yep.
government, in my opinion, was looking for somebody or something. That's guessing. I can't prove anything. But it sure is odd they put all those 0 to 400 feet everywhere, all over up there.
Mike Wonky, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just, you were talking about drones and RFID and all that stuff. It only if it's equipped with RFID is it going to be squawking to be able to be identified. Okay.
Right, but it's the mandate now that it has to be if it's
Yeah,
over
but-
248 grams.
Go
Yes.
on Hobby King. Go on Hobby King. You can buy motors, frames, ESCs,
Right,
props,
right.
everything.
Build one.
You can
Isn't it a
build
mandate
one
that you got to have
without-
a license plate on your car too?
without
Right, that's
having
right.
any of
Mike's
that stuff
right.
on it.
How many people?
So if they
support
don't
that?
have the RFID in the drone, then there's no way to track it other than it's big enough to be picked up on radar. So yeah, Sparky, you're correct. Anything sold is a hobbyist type user ready drone has to have that stuff. But you got to think about how many of you
Right.
guys buy ARF airplanes? You don't. You build your planes. Drone guys are the same way. They put drones together out of components that they buy off the internet, and they don't put RFID
Right,
units in them.
right. I understand.
and our high school aerospace program does that. They get the kits and they build them.
Yeah, you're allowed to fly them if you're in a FRIA, but if you're in controlled airspace, you're supposed to have that RFID chip.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And over New Jersey is not a FRIA, I'll guarantee you that.
Well, no, FRIAs are generally AMA flying sites are
Right.
FRIAs.
Right.
Luckily, we got both ours in. Both the places we fly are FRIAs, so we don't have to mess with any of that stuff. We still do a little bit of bandit flying here in the neighborhood with small electrics, which it's against the law. We're not supposed to be doing it, but they got to catch us first. Well, first somebody has to complain, and then they got to catch us. And then I'll just play dumb and say, it's a little toy foam RC airplane. I didn't know there was anything wrong. Of course, I just sent it on a live stream on the internet. So that
Yeah,
probably
but
was-
up there where you are in Fargo, North Dakota, that doesn't matter.
Hey, Sparky, I can tell you this from fact that if you are caught and it's against the law, the fines are through the roof.
Yeah, $10,000 and
Oh, no, that was a Hollywood studio in the early days of all this. And the studio was fined $250,000.
Wow.
Yep. Yep. So you don't want to get caught.
be pretty hard to catch somebody.
Well, I don't think it's good for our hobby or anyone else who's outdoors. I really don't.
Well,
I think
you can
actually
thank the AMA for that.
it's very good for this hobby,
Yeah.
the control line hobby.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any more people come back just because of the drones. Have you? Name me somebody that's come back into control line because of the drone. Who?
This is a whole can of worms where what are they going to come back to? That covering you just showed them that they can't buy? Or the
That's
airplane
right.
kits that aren't made anymore? Or the engines that you got to wait for an estate sale for? We're not really ready to receive them.
That's right.
There's some truth in that.
Everything I'm flying is an antique. Them Super Tigers are antiques. I mean,
So that's the question. How could they come back if they wanted to?
Electric phone, other means.
Electric, I agree with you there. But the airplane equation is still kind of a tough one.
Hey, Mark.
You consider what they're used to, you know.
What you got, Michael?
There's an ARF for you.
Oh, what do you got there?
It's a Cox TD4.
Oh,
Isn't that cute? That won't pull too hard, Mike. You can hang on to it.
So I hope it will be cute when I get done. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and put all the parts on it and make it look as original as I can, just as a show and tell thing for,
yeah.
meetings and stuff. But
Full flying stab?
Hmm?
Full flying stab on that?
yeah,
That's neat.
they're kind of crazy. But anyway, that's what I first learned to fly round and round with, was one of these things.
I'll tell you something very important with that airplane. You better straighten out before you fly it. Make sure that the stabilizer and the wing are parallel
Mm-hmm.
this way, because it's crooked right now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, it isn't even rubber banded together securely yet, but
Because it'll do some weird stuff if you give it up.
I thought he was lecturing you personally. You better straighten out before you fly. Which may be true. I don't know, but.
And Mark, you mentioned the OS-40.
Hey, Jimmy and Mark, good to see you guys.
Good to be seen.
What's new in your world?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. The weather out here is lovely this time of year. That's why we tolerate the summers.
Yeah.
I'm monkeying around with this carrier airplane. It's reminding me why I switched over to electric. Glow motor with a throttle. It was working on the bench. I put it on the airplane, tried to fire it up in the backyard. It's not working. Back on the bench, take out the carburetor, put in a stunt venturi, and start troubleshooting again. Not fun. It's the part of the hobby I absolutely hate the most. Is, how come my glow motor's not working? I got 2 glow airplanes I'm monkeying around with this month, both giving me troubles.
Got to wave the magic screwdriver at it.
Frustrating.
Is it foaming the fuel by? Is it foaming the fuel by chance, Jim, on the airplane?
No. It's behaving like an air leak. It's got a carburetor on it. I've sealed everything with RTV, but the needle valve itself relies on an O-ring seal. And I'm fearful that's part of the equation. So that's why I put in a stunt venturi, run it, make sure everything else is working.
Yep. Makes sense.
We got any Bearcat updates, Mark?
Oh, little.
That's what we wait on. We done Bearcat updates.
Hey, Jim, that reminds me of something I'll share. What? Wait a minute.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, it's okay.
I got some technical difficulties here.
Oh, okay. I bought my first new car in 10 years. I like to keep them until, they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a Subaru Forester. Very nice. I really enjoy it. But the electronics have come a long way in 10 years. So yesterday, three of us played in a tournament, golf tournament. And I'm sitting, I always lift the tailgate. I sit there, I change my shoes, put on whatever I got to do, take my clubs out. But what I forgot was I was kind of dangling my legs over the back, and there's a sensor back there,
Yep.
right? So I'm kind of kicking my legs underneath and trying to get my shoes on, and all of a sudden the top comes down on my head. And I had to run out of the way. It wasn't going to stop.
Yeah.
So I realized what it was. And as soon as I got home from the tournament, sure enough, there is a switch that'll disable that. So I just have to remember not to dangle my legs under the trunk. Nice feature.
Yeah, mine has also on my minivan is the side door. So if you get your keys in your hand and your hand's full, you can just put your foot under there.
Yep.
And get it unlock and open.
Yeah.
We bought a new car a year ago, and the safety stuff is just jaw-dropping.
It is.
I'm a curmudgeon, so my knee-jerk reaction is I'm going to deactivate all of it. So then I started using it, and now I don't make a move without it. It's different than old cars, but it's better, much better, much safer.
Okay, you want to see some Bearcat stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so see, Friday night I showed you I was making the cowling.
Oh, yeah.
So I got that done. So it's Saturday I glued it on. Here's when I taped it on for Friday night's show. So I glued it on Saturday. I mounted the motor and I put a piece of balsa on the front and tightened down the nut there, and that snugged the cowl up to the airplane. And there were a couple of spots up above there that I needed to clamp to get it to fit really snugly. And I was really feeling good.
Oh, wow.
Until I put a propeller on it and found out that I didn't have enough
Oh
clearance
no!
for the front of the cowling.
Make you a wooden washer.
No, I didn't have enough clearance, Joe. So yeah.
Well, put a wooden washer on the shaft.
Well, no, what I did was I discovered this certainly after I glued it on, and I used that fab tack, which is that ambroid sort of stuff. And so what I did is I just took a razor saw and I went around it and cut it off, and I shortened it by about 1/8 of an inch, and then I glued it back on.
No, good.
And then I was in good shape. So, and with that fab tack, since it's like ambroid, you can take acetone and remove it. So I was able to clean up the whole fuselage former here and get it back to like it was in the beginning.
Well done.
Before I glued it back on. So it just took me a couple extra hours that I wasn't counting on, but that's the way it goes. And then I put the Bearcat propeller on it just to show the beast.
Well, that's nice.
And here it is with the rev up prop on that I'll probably use to fly it, at least to start.
That's a big prop. How many kV is that motor?
0.75.
60.
Yeah, it's probably about 700 or 800 watts. I don't know what that equates to in kV, but
Good hair
Mark,
dryer.
do you have like 64th plywood on the inside of that?
inside of what?
Okay.
You get a glass that, Mark?
That's beautiful.
No, I do use the class coat, which gives you a lot of like eggshell type
Yeah,
effect
surface
on the
hardness.
balsa. Yeah.
What size prop is that? 13?
Yeah, that's a 13.5, I think it was when I stuck on it quick to check it out, clearance wise.
You said the
What
the
engine,
test coat
what
epoxy.
engine's that? Is that a Super Tiger, Mark?
Yeah, it's a Super Tiger 60. I'm sorry.
Oh,
And then, Steve, what were you asking? What I
Class
coated
coat,
with?
class coat epoxy paint is what you're going to use. You said.
Yeah, that's what I used on the first one. I'm going to use that again. It worked out really well. They have the, well, first I put on the finishing resin, the Z-epoxy finishing resin, and heat that with a heat gun so that it flows really smooth and wipe off everything you can wipe off with a towel.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it hardens, you sand it down and do that about 3 times. And by that time, you get a nice, good eggshell, hard finish on the balsa. So then after I got the cowling on, the next trick is to drill the hole for the needle valve.
Yep.
So I take the needle valve out, I stick a wire. It's the largest diameter I can get into the venturi. And then I push it sideways so it comes over here and makes a hole out the cowling where the needle valve is going to go.
Nice.
And then I took a 1/4 inch Forster bit and followed the hole down there and drilled it out that way. It worked out pretty good.
Did you use that Forstner bit backwards?
No, I mean backwards.
Turning it backwards
No,
so it
I
doesn't chip the balsa.
no, I turned it forward. It's really sharp.
Yeah.
I don't get much chipping out of it.
I just use a brass tube, but if I'm going to use a Forstner bit, I turn it backwards so it doesn't chip out the wood.
Yeah, I use a brass tube in my drill press, but when I had to do this kind of freehand because I couldn't get this in a drill press very easily. So the Forster worked out pretty good.
You do nice work, Mark.
Here's the inside, and there's the front view.
So you're going to put a plastic radial engine in there?
No.
Why not?
Well, once you get all the dark blue paint everywhere, you can't see in there anyway. So
Yeah, prime it with the dummy engine in it. 8 drops.
well, I need to make sure I get airflow. One of the things I did today was I thinned out the cowling around where the motor is, so I get better airflow around the engine cylinder and the venturi there. So that's where I am at the moment. The next thing I got to do, this is the last one I built. I'm going to make these peg holders here that have little T-nuts in them to hold down the cowling. So I'll get those fabricated and mount those in there this week, and then I'll fit the cowling on top and drill out the holes for the cowling to fit, and then put in some little basswood inserts and get that all working, and then I'll be able to tighten the cowling down, and I'll have that done.
What length lines do you fly that on?
I was using 64 feet.
And it flies good on a 13.5 propeller?
Yeah.
And how much does it weigh?
Ask Joe. 63 ounces is what the last one weighed.
And I don't know. I got 13.5s, but I found that they don't have enough pull.
Well, the 13.6 is a standard Super Tiger 60 propeller.
Right.
That everybody uses. And, Joe can tell you, we were debugging this thing at Brodax last year, and it was just going too fast. And I needed a lower pitch prop, and I thought I had a 13.5 in my box, and I couldn't find it. And then you loaned me that 14.5.
Right.
That I cut down to 13, and that worked really well.
Mm-hmm. It's a small airplane, Robert, I think.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what size it is. It matters how much weight it is. He said it was 62 to 64 ounces.
Hmm. But the
Yep.
drag of the airframe with the 6 was just going too fast.
Yeah, I think my airplane's more streamlined, and I'm turning a 5.3, 5.4 lap speed with a 6
Really?
on 64s.
Huh.
I don't know.
I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, the aerodynamics of this thing, I think Al Ryby is either
It might
lucky
be-
or really, really smart. I don't know which, maybe both.
The drag is very much related to the thickness of the wing too. That's
I
the,
agree.
Well,
that's the projected
the
funnel.
wing area on this airplane is about 575 square inches, which is not much at all for a 60 size airplane.
Maybe that's why it pulls it so fast. It's small.
But it's got
That's
that thick
exactly right.
wing with the Raby airfoil, and it generates lift like mad. With the flaps are like 22% of the wing area. The combination of that thick airfoil with the large flaps.
What's the flap root? 4 inches? 3.5?
That's about a little over 3.5. Yeah. So it generates lift like mad for an airplane that size.
Is that the same size that Keith Truth flew for years and years and years?
Yeah, same
Yeah,
size. It's a slightly different wing design, but it's the same basic size. I don't know what Keith's weighed. He just wasn't quite this heavy, but anyway, that's what I've been doing this weekend and today. So, is Mike on Lonke? Is he paying attention? Mike, you there?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be flying that on the LPAD next year.
You were asking me about an 049 for the LPAD. Well, this is something I just acquired, and it should be a lot of fun. This is like the first airplane I ever flew.
Is that a fire baby?
Yep, it sure is.
Okay, so it's not a wall hanger. We're actually gonna put fuel in it, and you're gonna fly it.
Well, what I got it for was I want to make a set of plans so I could replicate it if I ever needed to.
Okay, you're gonna use the little pipette for the gas tank, the little.
Well, what I'm going to do is I think this is a K&B 049, and it's got very little compression. And the one I flew first, I had a Cox Baby B on it, 049. And I'm just going to put a Cox on this one
Oh, okay.
to fly it. So by the time I get it to Muncie next July, it'll have the Cox on it.
Cool.
And
Looking forward to it.
But it's got a split in the wing here. I got to glue that too, but that shouldn't be too bad. And it doesn't have a push rod, but that's easy to fabricate. So I'll get it in flying shape, and we can take it over to the LPAD some evening and pretend we're kids again.
In my neighborhood, it seemed like it was either one of those or one of these carts that were used. Those were the two most popular airplanes to learn to go round and around with.
Yeah, I think I was about 10 or 11, and I fussed that I wanted an airplane. And my dad took me to the hobby shop, and the hobby shop owner, who we know really well, pulls out this fire baby, and he says, "Here's what you need." And it had that metal propeller in it. Remember those?
Yes.
And he picked that up, and he says these are dangerous, and he threw it away. And he picked out a top flight fiberglass prop and dropped it in the box. I think it was a 6.3. He says, "Here, no charge for this." He didn't want me cutting my fingers up, and then
You cut the crap out of your fingers with that little nylon prop.
Dang right. Well, that aluminum will eat you worse.
well, my dad started it for me, so I didn't have to worry about flipping it. But anyway, that was the beginning of my control line flying. So
The parts
Mark.
what's that?
I say that's what I learned to fly on.
Yeah, a whole bunch of us did. I
Yeah.
don't know how many of these Jim Walker made. There must have been 100,000 or more at least.
Oh, yeah, thousands and thousands and thousands.
Oh, yeah.
The thing I like about it, if you broke a wing, I go back to the hobby shop, just buy a half a wing.
Yeah, yeah. And I discovered that they fly on half a wing.
Yeah.
After I crashed it 3 or 4 times, the outboard wing was broken off. And my dad launched it again with the inboard wing only. And I was able to fly it. I think I got 8 laps in, is what I remember vividly. And that was at the point where I knew I could fly and wouldn't crash every time I did it. So anyway, this is a trip back to the good old days.
There you go. I guess they were, yeah. I agree.
They were simpler days for sure, Michael.
What's that?
They were simpler days for sure.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. Hey, Gordon, you know, Gene Pape out here would be somebody that would talk vintage combat with you as many hours as you wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, I know Jane.
Okay. Yeah, I love having him here and have so much fun with that stuff. And what a great guy.
And Jim Hoffman's still on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you aren't going to get much sympathy out of me, Jim, with your flying problems because we are not flying around here very much. It's winter, and today the wind speed at the field down in Arvada was 60 miles an hour.
Holy mackerel.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we had a beautiful day here, Mark, except it snowed.
Yeah, we've been having some decent days, but we haven't got much snow, but it's cold. And
Yeah,
it
it's
got
cold
really
here.
windy, and now it's supposed to get really cold. Down in the teens overnight, I think tomorrow night. So,
Well, I won't complain about our 30s then. The
Mark?
airplane looks really nice.
Hey, Mark?
Yesterday.
you talking to me or Mark Weiss?
Mark White, is he still up?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's
Who's talking?
Mike. Mike, ask Mark what you're going to ask him.
Mark? What?
Yeah.
You mentioned the OS-40 that you guys were using. Which model OS-40?
It wasn't the FSRs, it was a plain bearing. I forget, I don't know if it was an FP, but it was a nice running sport motor. It didn't have a huge power, but they were pretty bulletproof.
I've got a 48, actually 3 of them, and they're nice motors.
Yeah,
They really are.
yeah. Yeah, we had a good time with that.
Hmm.
I put a H40 in a profile motor. I thought I put a combat motor in it. Way too small of airplane. So I took it back out and put a 35 back in it. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys good night. I've got a cold and all my talking that makes it worse. So I'm going to say good night to everybody and Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year, Gordy.
Night, Gordy.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Good
Yeah.
feeling better, Gordy.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
take care.
You too.
Take care, Gord.
Happy New Year, Gordon.
Thank you.
I flew the Chipmunk for an hour and a half yesterday.
Oh,
I'm gonna head out too. Have a happy New Year, everybody.
see you,
Take care,
Jim.
Jim.
Happy New Year,
Yeah,
Jim.
see you,
See
Jim.
ya.
Oh,
We're going to end the stream anyway. A few minutes.
yeah, won't be long.
You got your motor all fixed on your Chipmunk, I guess, huh?
I think so. It's running good.
How's the end play on the crank?
It ain't got none when it's hot. When you land, it hadn't got any. That makes me nervous a little bit.
Well, you built it, right?
I just built the bottom end. I didn't do the top end.
You built it. You built
the bottom end. This the bottom end, not the top end.
Well, there's a thrust bearing in there that you know is a certain length that when I was a Harley mechanic, I always added 10,000s. You know, let's say that the bearing would come in at 90, I would make it 100,000s so that it had 10,000s end play. Mechanics like end play, engineers like preload, but engineers are wrong. I'm telling you.
Well, mine, you know, right now you can pull the prop clunk, 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 clunk. But when you land after you fly it, you really can't feel anything.
Sounds like
But
you
the
need
oil,
a
the oil
dead blow
pressure's
hammer.
running good. Huh?
Sounds like you need a dead blow hammer.
Yeah. On a 80-year-old engine. It's
You
been
said
like
you
this
wanted-
since I
you just
bought it.
wanted end play. That's
Yeah, it got good oil pressure and it starts good and runs good and doesn't run hot. There's no metal in the Kuno filter.
Well, don't worry about it then. Just keep
Just
flying it. It'll wear
Keep
in.
flying it.
It'll
You're
eat off
breaking
what
it.
it doesn't need.
it'll
Maybe.
be fine.
It'll be fine. Remember, if it quits, just land.
You're not flying. You're not flying a watch.
No,
That's right.
it's a Rolls Royce engine though.
Oh,
Out of a Model A.
Yes,
Well,
That
we
part-
It's got an updraft Weber on it, doesn't it? Or is
it's downdraft.
downdraft linkered? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
It's a goofy, goofy set.
What
I
are-
looked at it. It's a goofy.
Yeah, you
set.
saw it.
What are the differences between a chipmunk and a super chipmunk?
Super Chipmunks have different engines. I got the original Gypsy Major Rolls Royce. The Supers, they put everything from 0470s to 540s in them. A lot of them, they clip the wings off a foot each side, narrow the flaps, leave the ailerons big elevator or big rudder. And a lot of them, they take the skins off the fuselage and put heavier skins to accommodate that bigger motor.
Got to put a big block Chevrolet in it.
I
Plenty
need
of
to
end
just
play in
fly it
the
like it is.
Run it fuel injected. That way you could
Yeah,
with a sump in it, so you could fly it upside down.
that'd work out well for us. No,
I
it's just-
love watching Art Scholl at Reno.
Mhm.
One of my favorite performers. And he was
You
good.
can see him on YouTube a lot of places. He was quite a good pilot.
You know, he was killed in the filming of Top Gun, right?
That's right. In the pit special.
Yeah.
I understand they had a big old camera on the tail. They got it into a spin. It might have been a kiss aft CG or the aerodynamics of that camera on the tail. I don't know what happened, but it was
They
tragic.
said he kept his cool all the way down. I think we have a problem.
Supposedly, he's still in that pits right now.
Unbelievable.
Probably so.
His
They
stick
asked his
broke
wife-
off or something.
They asked his wife about going to get him, and she said, "Nope, leave him there." So he's in that airplane at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Is that where that was?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's down there right now still.
With his asbestos suit on.
Yeah.
Aviation itself, you can do everything proper and get hurt in aviation. Things can go wrong.
Forget to put the landing gear down on the 757. That's
How you forget that?
Did you see that?
Jeepers, yes.
Yeah.
There's more to that story too.
My cousin, you haven't met him, Sparky has, but he flew 757 UPS. He knows all about it, and he can't, for the life of him, come up with a scenario that makes sense where they had to they obviously had control. They think right on the numbers when they came in. So he doesn't understand why they didn't go around or why they tried to land.
So when did this happen and where?
It was
South Korea.
yeah. some Jeju airline or something like that.
Yeah,
Well-
you're on the right track.
There you go.
The guy had 68 or 8,600 hours. I don't
Yeah,
know,
those
a lot of
guys-
hours.
Those guys are plenty sharp.
I'm wondering
Made
if
the
the
missed
pilots
approach,
were
pulled
somehow
up.
disabled by the bird strike or something. Because they
Ah,
just, the way they landed that thing was beyond
Ah.
explanation. I mean, then no landing gear down, flaps
no
are not
flaps.
down.
Wasn't hardly any
They
flaps.
didn't try to
I just
reverse
slow the burger
they didn't
down.
try to reverse thrust on the engines.
Yeah, I
can't.
didn't-
You can't reverse them when the gear's not down.
They
You
can't.
got squat
Oh, yeah.
switches. Yeah, the gear's
Anyway,
got
I mean,
squat
the whole
switches.
thing-
Yeah,
The whole thing just doesn't make sense. But
I agree.
we'll
When did
find
it
out
happen? Because I didn't hear about it.
a couple days
Day
ago.
before yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it on YouTube? Can I see a?
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sure you can.
Oh, yeah.
How tall was that wall? Was that an 8 or 10 foot concrete wall?
I thought it wasn't a wall; it was a berm. It was a dirt.
Berm? Was it?
Embankment or something is what I heard.
Man.
But again, there's more to be learned about that, I'm sure.
That's full. It's going fast, man.
It was
mean,
it was
yeah,
doing
but
100 knots when he hit it, I bet. I don't-
Probably, yeah.
that
You know,
thing
his
was
flaps
huge.
weren't down. He had no
No,
flap.
I mean, that's what I was saying is it's just the land. It was not configured for a landing.
No.
Well, let me mention what's in the chat here. We got Roy Lane, almost a happy new year. And then your cousin says evening. And then Wayne Royce says Sparky and everyone like giving. Daniel Berry Sports says,
Yo,
"No," that's right.
Uh,
Wayne Royce says, "Hi Gary, you got something coming for your piggy bank? Should be there soon." Jim Hoppin was just in here, but he said Happy New Year. And Eddie Sutter says, "My first was a Carl Goldberg swordsman." And then Andy Metzger says, "Happy New Year, Stunt Hangar crew."
my first was a little dark-headed girl.
And that does it for our open meeting. And we're going to go to the after party. And I appreciate you guys watching. I think everybody's on the same page. We're going to go to once a week meetings during the winter here. And it'll be Monday. So it'll be next Monday before the next meeting. Does that sound good to you guys?
That's
Yeah.
fine.
I just think that, I mean, they're just two, one right after the other. It's Monday, Friday. Just there's no way to really space it out right. So, and I'm not getting the numbers that we used to get, so we'll just go with a Monday meeting, and should it start picking back up, we'll go twice a week again.
Perfect.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
All
it'll
right.
work.
Yeah.
We are going to make let's see here. Let me gotta go down here. I gotta get all this set up here so I can get off here. Be sure if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share. We gotta go in here.
Hey,
And
Sparky, can you make Gary the host? I got to be up at 4:30, so I don't know how long.
All right,
how much
no
longer I'm
problem.
gonna stay tonight.
Okay. All right.
All righty. We'll see you later. Happy New Year,
Yeah.
Stunt Hangar crew, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.
all righty. Good night, you guys.
Helmet head for president.
Yeah. All right, we are off.